Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. All right, so today is a pretty special day on the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. We have our first guest here. It's a good friend of mine, Michael Butler. I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself there, Michael.
Yeah, so my name is Michael. I'm a father of one currently. She's 1 year old. She's going to turn 2 in July. I don't really follow the whole month thing, but I kind of stopped tracking that like around 15 months. She's like 1.5-ish, but so yeah, that's my credentials to be part of the fatherhood fitness group. But what I do is I kind of have a background in exercise science. I went to the University of Central Missouri, got a bachelor's degree in exercise science. I worked as a personal trainer for a few good months. I worked in physical rehabs for a few good years. And that was kind of the extent of the time that I spent working in the exercise field. So kind of like what a physical therapist does. We did a lot of corrective exercise movement, different things like that. And we worked with all sorts of populations. So it was a pretty good time. But now currently for a job, I'm an electrician apprentice in the electrical union. So a little bit different. I kind of jumped ship, it's kind of make ends meet. Wanted to do something a little bit different that I could financially support my family just a little bit better. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I still am very active with fitness. I try to take care of myself. I will be honest, since I've moved jobs, the whole rehab aspect is a little harder, but we got to work a little bit harder at it. But what I do is I work out from home, and if this is an audio version of this podcast, you may not see, but I have my gym right behind me. And I started, it got really popular around COVID times, right? Of like people wanting to build their home gyms, and I kind of was ahead of the game, and I started kind of building out my home gym in about 2012, and just being real patient, buying one thing at a time. But that's kind of what I'm doing is trying to balance a new work situation, fatherhood, of course, and getting those regular workouts in. And I'm sure we'll cover it in this podcast, but that is a struggle, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you got a pretty big transition in your life there. You said you just switched jobs. You're now doing something completely different. Let's talk about that a little bit. Since you have started a new job, tell us kind of the hours you work and maybe what your normal routine is and how that's changed over the past few months or so.
Yeah, so this new position, it's really primarily construction based. So, it's an electrician apprentice, but we deal very little with actual electricity. It's more construction work. But
okay.
So the hours that I work right now are 6 to 2:30. And so that makes for some early mornings, but it's a pretty good time to get off and still have a lot of the day left. So so that's been a transition in itself, since I kind of went from working a lot of like late mornings to middle evenings, and now I'm working really early mornings. But it's kind of had to shift bedtime a little bit, and there's some nights where I come home real tired. So
yeah. So do you tend to get your workouts in? Do you get up even earlier than you have to, or do you still mainly afternoons, evenings?
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, no. I'm not a morning workout kind of guy. That is for some people, and that is not me. Primarily what I do in fitness is powerlifting, and from we may talk about that, but training for like maximal strength and things like that, and moving a lot of big weights. And I just noticed really early on of trying to wake up early and get my workout before the day starts is my nervous system is not awake yet. So weights feel heavier. I may not like actually present stronger. So I actually do a little bit better with my workouts if I do them later in the day. And I've tried a few times of getting the early stuff in, and it's just not right for me. So my workout schedule, sporadic. I get it in when I can. I try to shoot for anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week. 3 is kind of my minimum, like better get it in kind of thing. And anything on top of 3 is really bonus. So, I if I get 3 in, that's a win. 4 is great. 5's even better. Very rarely nowadays are we getting 6 and 7. That was in my younger days. Back in college, I would work out like 6 days a week, and I loved it. Body responded well to it, but it's not feasible for this new life. So, time of day is obviously it's after work, and that can either be, I have a really loving, supportive wife who she'll even make the suggestion like, "Hey, now would be a good time." Or
yeah, that's definitely helpful.
Yes, it is. That's huge, just having that support system. And so a lot of times there's a couple days a week where my wife might be working from home, and she'll say, you can go work out after work, or I'll ask like, "Hey, is today a good day to work out after work?" And they'll do it right when I get home. So like I roll into home about 3 o'clock, get changed, get my workout done by 4:30, and so that's pretty nice. But other days, I'll do it after we put our daughter to sleep. And she has a bedtime about 8:30, so it still gives me a good chance to get in and get a pretty good workout in before ultimately I need to turn in. And working with a 6 a.m. start time with work, that I'm skating a fine line. And I'm not gonna lie, some days there's the end of the evening is it's not gonna happen tonight. I'm not gonna be able to wake myself up enough. So so it's somewhere between getting home from work or after bedtime. So
there's a couple things there I want to touch on. I thought what you said at the beginning there was really important. Just kind of finding that time that works for you. You kind of realized early on that maybe you're not a morning person, or you obviously are. You have to get up to go to work, so you're a morning person by force. But getting up even earlier than that can be pretty difficult. And I kind of found myself in that same boat there. I get up. I obviously. Being a dad has kind of made us all morning people. We probably get up then earlier than you have to. If you weren't a morning person before, you probably are somewhat now. But I kind of noticed the same thing when I would work out in the mornings. I would get it done, and I would definitely get there and do the work, but I found myself not looking forward to it as much. I would kind of almost get anxious, like I couldn't sleep as well the night before because I knew I needed a good night's rest in order, so I wasn't just exhausted in the gym. And so I stopped looking forward to it as much. And then there's that time late at night too. If the kids are in bed, you have that time, but sometimes it's hard too because then maybe your energy levels are up a little more, then you can't get to sleep. And now you're in the same cycle there. So finding times that work for you. If you're a morning person, awesome. Go ahead, let it happen in the morning. I feel pretty fortunate because I'm able to work out around 4 o'clock each day. Or 3-4 days a week. And that works really well for me. Previously, I would have to work out sometimes over lunch, which isn't always the most fun, or work out as soon as I get home from work. And that can be a struggle too, because you're gone at work all day, you get home, you want to see your kids, you want to see your wife. And so that's difficult too. And then now all of a sudden at 7-8 o'clock at night, you're cutting into dinner, all these things. So I think finding what you're not willing to do. And I think that was an important step there that you kind of put out there, that you're not necessarily willing to work out in the morning or get up even earlier than you have that 4 o'clock start time. So I think that's important. Kind of mapping out what you're not willing to do to kind of get to where you want to.
Right. Yeah. I just, even when I was working jobs where I started at like 9 a.m., I still didn't want to do it just because it takes, getting into work and kind of doing your thing at work is a little bit different than, waking up and having to go like full tilt at weights. And so, yeah, it kind of was very apparent with that. And then moving to this new job now, I start at 6. So I was like, yeah, so that's not going to work because I have to like get out of bed. The hour hand may be pointing at 3, and I'm like, wow, that just sounds terrible. So, at the very least, it'd probably be like I'd have to be up and ready to go at 4 a.m. And it's like, I don't know about that. So yeah, it became much less of an option with the new job. But the support system around me is great. That it may be my wife, it may be my mother-in-law who's watching my daughter here, and I'm able to get a workout right after work. And yeah, that does. You did mention that does present some struggles that it's hard to like jump right into it when you get home. Maybe maybe you just want to unwind, do whatever you want to do to unwind. But I always look at it if I'm trying to get a workout right after work is get it done, and you'll have the rest of the evening to do all of those activities, and then you're not going to be thinking about it all night, or you can just relax and you can unwind at that point. So yeah, it's definitely finding out what works, and really just trying to commit to that and stay disciplined with that is probably the biggest struggle really with finding a time that you want to work out is the discipline of saying, no, you got to do this, because ultimately that's what we're all doing in this is, whether you want to or not, you have to kind of discipline yourself and say, no, this is what we're going to do. So.
Yep. Yeah. And you got a good view. If you're listening to the podcast, then obviously you're not seeing what I'm seeing right now, but you got a great view of your home gym right now. You got a lot of equipment there.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of equipment at home too. But I still like to go to the gym now now I work from home. Before, when I wasn't working from home, I went to the gym less because I didn't want to spend more time away from home. So I would primarily do 80% of my workouts from home. And now I'm about the opposite. I do the majority of my workouts at the gym. It gives me just kind of a chance to leave. I'm not just home all day long. I'm not sitting back in my office / home gym all day long. But I found that sometimes when I am working out from home, I am more likely to skip my workout or find something else to do. How do you continue to find that motivation, or just kind of to keep that discipline like you talked about, to make sure you're not just skipping a workout, but letting that go into 2 or 3 or 4 skipped workouts in a row?
Yeah, and Anthony, that you kind of hit it out of the park with the challenge of working out from home. When I started working out from home, it wasn't an issue because I was, ultra motivated and ready to go, and I was all about it. It was like, that was like my one big thing I had going on, that I could really, just dive headfirst into my workout regimen. So, but now it's, you have everything you need to entertain yourself at home. You have your computer right behind my camera. Here is my computer, so you can see the proximity of that. Is like, ugh. So there's days where I have to, turn the computer off, or I have to, close the door to the basement so that I'm not going up and down the stairs and wanting to go up and see what everyone's doing and then come back down. And then at that point, you have a rest period that's like 8 minutes, and that's not really good either. That's going to drag it all night.
Yep.
So yeah, it's that is an ongoing struggle, and truthfully, something I haven't figured out.
Yeah.
Because and it's really silly because you get home gym equipment for the ease of it's right here. I don't have to get in my car. I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to deal with waiting on a machine. But yeah, you're right. It does make it easier to say, oh, I don't really feel like doing it tonight. And the psychology of that, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm not sure why it's easier to say no to. But maybe it's like, oh, it's always there. I can do it tomorrow. Or, maybe it is that it's easier to fit into a schedule. So you think you can fit it into your schedule somewhere else. But I try to just like set a schedule and say, I'm gonna work out on Tuesday, I'm gonna work out on Thursday, and then I'm gonna do like a Saturday during nap time. And those are the times that those are my 3 workouts. Like, you're not missing those workouts. So Tuesday and Thursday, Kayla has volleyball. My wife Kayla has volleyball, and so I have the option of either, and those are also coincidentally days that she works from home. So I have the option of either setting it right after work, getting home, getting the workout in, and then I'll have the rest of the evening, put Sophia to bed, Kayla goes and plays volleyball, or I can get home, just spend time with the family, and then put Sophia to bed, and then I have the evening, and depending on the volleyball schedule, Kayla's either home or not. But so those are really good days to set apart. But it's all about like having that schedule and just having the discipline and the willpower to say no. Those are the days, and that's how it's going to be. And ultimately, your goals have to mean enough to you that you're going to have the discipline to stick to it. And this last year and a half having Sophia, there's been times that we've gone weeks without touching a weight.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks without even like thinking about getting a workout. That's when, because I really do think like your workout regimen is momentum based, like kind of feeds off of it. So when you get into those slumps, that's when it really gets hard to start hitting your workouts. So just putting your goal on a kind of on your list of desires in life, and like that means enough to me that I'm going to have the discipline to get it done. So
momentum definitely, for sure. Momentum will work for and against you, right? Things are going well, you'll continue, and things you're kind of struggling, that kind of continues to pile up too. But yeah, you said you mentioned like the psychology of not being able to get your workout in at home, kind of pushing other things. I started reading a book, I believe it's by Matthew Walker, called Why We Sleep. It's pretty interesting, but it talked about it kind of talked about like keeping the bedroom only for sleep. So you're not doing work in the bedroom, you're not reading before bed in the bedroom, you don't have a TV, and so when you go to sleep, like your brain kind of compartmentalizes it, I guess, like this is the room we sleep in. And so you're kind of telling yourself, and I know I found for me is when I go to the gym, that's literally the only thing I do there. And so I've been thinking about that, like, why am I able to get my workout? Even if on those least motivated days, if I'm working out from home, I can find 100 excuses not to work out. But if I'm going to the gym, all I got to do is get there, and I'm getting that workout done. And maybe it's because that's literally the only thing I do there. It's the only thing I do is work out. And so one thing, I was having a conversation with another trainer the other day, and we were kind of talking about it's awesome because when you work from home, you can wear whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, right? But I found, and I discovered this quite a while ago now, if I wear sweatpants, I get nothing done throughout the whole day. And so I have to put jeans on. I have to I have to change clothes. I can't just wake up and start working because I won't be productive. Yeah. And so I change clothes. And so when I'm working out, I do the same thing. I will change into my workout clothes, put some athletic shorts on or something like that. And I don't know if you have a TV down in your basement, but you said like you have your computer, you have all these other things. I got a TV behind me here, and I would turn the TV on and watch Netflix. And like you said, like my workout sometimes will turn into 8-minute respite, like I start rewinding on things. And so what I started doing is I try and just make it like I'm going to the gym. I will wear my headphones, even if I'm just listening to music I will put my headphones on. And so it kind of zones me out. And to me, like if I turn those headphones on, my focus is so much better. And I think just trying to create that environment, because like you said, you have all the equipment you need at home. So why is it so much harder because you got all these other things to do? And so I think for those who maybe don't have as much equipment, or who don't have any equipment at all, maybe just dedicating a room, like this is where I work out. Yeah. Maybe having a yoga mat or something. When I rolled out the yoga mat, this is when I work out. I don't know. I don't know if you found anything that like just kind of puts you in the zone. I know for me, just changing my clothes and putting headphones on has like completely change my, not necessarily my motivation, but kind of like what you talked about, just kind of increase that momentum. If I change my clothes, I'm slowly building that momentum. If I put my headphones on, I'm continuing that momentum. If I drink my pre-workout, I know for sure I'm working out, because it's miserable not working out after you drink a pre-workout. But I don't know. Have you found anything that has kind of helped push you in that direction?
Yeah, so I think mobility work is great for that. Mobility work should feel pretty good too. Is like, it's kind of stretching and a little bit cathartic and ritualistic. So that kind of helps you kind of get focused into that. It also puts me in a geographically good position to start my workout. So whatever you're doing, you could be doing calisthenics, just body weight stuff. You could be doing weightlifting, like what I got back here. You could be doing some cardio. I think it's always good to start with a little bit of mobility stuff and kind of get your mind right and in the zone. Okay. So geographically, I don't know if you can see this, but I've got a nice like line going through the middle of my basement, right?
Yeah.
And everything on this side is fun. Okay. So everything over here, I got my computer right here on the back side of the camera. I've got the nice fish tank here that I care for. It's fun to watch. I've got guitars over here. So everything kind of fun is over here. So if I stay over here on this side, then I typically have a better chance at staying focused on my workout, which is what we're in this room for. And so this is my deadlift platform over here, but that's also where I like lay down and do my mobility work. So if I can stay across this line, then I'll have a better chance of staying focused. So I'm sitting in a chair, right? And I have my computer here, right? So if I can stay away from this side of the room, then that helps me get focused and get more in the zone. Now, it's kind of silly, but we did this in high school, weightlifting, our weight room. We had this piece of paper on the door of the weight room, and it was a big light switch, right? So whenever you went into the weight room, you had to flip the switch. So you tap the switch, that means you're on. You're good to go. And this is real cheesy. So, so it may be for some people, it may not. You may be like, oh, that's not for me. But you would flip the switch on, and then you would have to be focused on what you were doing, what you were there to do, and what you were doing there. And of course, for a bunch of high school kids, it's like, all right, stop, talking to each other and messing around and get your work in. But I think that's more important now that we have all these distractions at home. We have all these we have like a really detailed schedule. I did not have anything to do after school in high school. That was it. You work out, maybe go home and do some homework. So being on a tighter schedule like we are now into adulthood, I think it's more important to stay focused. So listeners, maybe that's something that you want to adopt and say, I'm gonna flip the switch, and when I flip the switch on, that means I'm good to go. I'm gonna stay focused. Music is great, obviously, or staying in a certain area. Maybe it's like I'm not allowed to go near my computer. I'm not allowed to turn the TV on. I'm not allowed to leave this room until this workout is done. Except if you need to go to the bathroom. I'm not saying you have to put limitations on yourself that much, but have some rules. That's gonna help like really achieve goals and like help you get your workout in a timely manner. Especially if that is ultimately the goal, is to work out from home. Put yourself in a better situation that you won't get distracted from working out.
I like that a lot. I think that was kind of on the same line there. Like for me, it's putting my headphones in, having a switch or something like that. Even like I that makes me think of like baseball walk-up music. Each player has their own music because it kind of gets them in that routine. And no, I kind of like that. I'm gonna try that. But I think that's definitely helpful. Just kind of like what you said, like having that line. Maybe it's just an imaginary line for people, but like you have two separate sides of your basement. For me, I have my office and workout equipment spread out everywhere. That's probably why it's hard for me to focus. That's probably why it's kind of hard for me to focus while I'm in here. But no, you mentioned that like creating some rules for yourself too. Looks like we're running down to about 10 minutes here, but quickly kind of share some you're like, obviously you have a different schedule right now compared to what you're used to. How has that affected the way you eat? If you're getting up so early and you're getting off work, so you're getting off work about 3 hours earlier than you normally would, right? And so how has that affected your eating schedule? And any advice for those who maybe do have maybe the night shift or just kind of a wonky schedule?
Yeah, so that's been a struggle as well with the new job. Getting home in the afternoon, it kind of reminds me of school, when you would get home and you would always want that snack after school. So I always want a snack after work.
Yeah.
And it is not always the best thing to do. So like eliminating snacks is not always feasible. It's almost never feasible. I think everyone should, let themselves, snack or have a bite of food. So a couple of things you can do. You can switch what you're eating. I love tortilla chips. I'll eat salty tortilla chips just plain out of the bag, right? So maybe instead of tortilla chips, maybe every other day, let's say, you have some fruit or something like that. Like still, and I love fruit too, but I gotta have the salty snack too. But so maybe just changing your substance of what you're snacking on could be a good idea. Portion control is huge. The one thing that really works for me when it comes to diet is portioning out my food, weighing my food, even counting chips. This is not for everyone. So if that sounds tedious to you, I understand, because it's so silly. A serving is 12 chips. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll throw it in a bowl. And that's what I like to do. It's it can be a fist-sized portion, just trying to limit yourself in some way. Don't go sit down with the bag. I'm sure every listener has heard that. Like don't sit down with the full serving of whatever you're having, or the full container of whatever you're having, because you can't. We're human. We can't control ourselves if that be the case. Because I'm not gonna sit there with my Costco bag of tortilla chips, which is literally like 2.5 feet tall, and only eat 12 chips out of that thing.
Yep.
Whatever the portion is. So I would say portion control is, maybe the most serious thing. And Anthony, I know you and I kind of share the same ideas on dietary restrictions and how you should formulate your diet. And there's really no food item that's off limits. Like, balanced diet's the way to go. So I'm not going to say, oh, you should never eat chips, but you should not eat a whole Costco-sized bag of chips, So just being smart about, your portions, things like that. I would say just those two things are probably some of the best things that you can do. I have heard people make the rule, like, don't eat in front of a screen, because it kind of takes your mind off of eating. And my wife and I did this for a while, where we were doing this. It wasn't necessarily a diet or a fad diet or anything like that. It was just a practice of eating that you would not be able to eat distracted. So you can't read a book, you can't look at your smartphone, you can't watch TV. You're going to sit at a table and you're going to eat, and you're going to have your portion, and you're going to eat half of it and try to spread that out over 10 minutes, right? And really try to enjoy that 10 minutes of snacking. And you may not have very much to snack on, so don't, eat it all in the first minute. And then take a 5-minute break. Okay. Put your food aside, put your other half aside, and take a 5-minute break and kind of let yourself digest. And then after that 5 minutes, you're going to take your other half and you're going to say, am I satisfied, or do I need that other half? And then if the answer is yes, then again, you don't eat it in the first minute. You're going to try to spread that out over 10 minutes. And that may just be a good, portion control type of limiting what you're intaking. It also can help you maybe experience food in a different way and enjoy it again. kind of make a small ritual out of it. I don't think anyone should ever worship their eating or anything like that.
Yeah.
But kind of making an event out of eating. So instead of saying, I'm watching Netflix and eating, maybe I'm going to pause my Netflix for 20 minutes, and I'm going to eat, and then I can get back to it later. And that just kind of puts you in a better mindset of slowing down and not overeating at the time. So.
Right. Yeah. Those some great tips there. Yeah. And those, that's awesome that you brought that up, because those are some of the habits I focus on with my clients, eating slowly, eating without distractions, making sure you're enjoying your food, things like that. That's awesome. And you talked about snacking there too. Yeah, and it kind of ties back and creating some rules for yourself too. So if you tell yourself you can't eat till after 8 o'clock, you just eat up until that point or something like that. It sounds counterintuitive. Like the more rules, it feels more restrictive, but it's actually less restrictive once you adopt it, because you're allowing yourself to have these things. You're not telling yourself they're bad. You just can't have it later on. And that to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I work out at 4 o'clock, because I know after my workout, I'm pretty hungry. And so it kind of prevents me. If I work out in the morning, I'm usually pretty hungry during the morning up until lunch, and I'll eat more than I typically do. If I eat out late at night, or if I work out late at night, I'm going to, I know I'm going to eat probably more that day, because I'm going to still be pretty hungry. And then all I have to think about before bed is how hungry I am. And so that's why I like working out 4 to 5 o'clock. And then I come home and eat dinner. And so I was already planning on eating there. So yeah, I think those are some great tips there. Focus on eating slowly, portion control, always important. I always like to say, Craig Ballantyne says, if it's in your house, if the food is in your house, you or somebody you love will eventually eat it. And so if we're buying it from the store, one of us is always going to eat it, right? And with the big bag of chips, right? It may be more expensive to buy individual bags, but you'll probably it'll probably be more beneficial to you long term if you don't buy the industrial size of tortilla chips, because they will be eaten.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's what we try to do too. Is like, hey, make this last. It costs so much from Costco. So
right.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that like working out around meal times and things like that, because as I kind of mentioned, working out after work, I'll try to get home, get ready, and then start working out. So what am I not doing when I get home for after work? I'm not snacking. So that's already going to kind of reduce my regular intake, even just by a little bit. Maybe it just shifts the time. Or maybe I can work out and make it to dinner or whatever. So, and being the cook of the house, there's a lot of times that I'll I can finish my workout. Not a lot of times, but this is a good example. I can finish my workout, get cleaned up, and then start cooking dinner. And maybe I have a bite of whatever I'm preparing or something while I'm that's my snack. So. That is a good method to kind of reduce, what you're intaking.
Yeah.
Just kind of planning your workout around it. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that I think that's a great tip. Just being able to kind of plan your life around that works for you, making sure you're getting your workouts in. And then kind of if you can get your workout in before dinner, you're kind of preventing yourself from snacking there, eating slowly, eating without distracted, and also being a great husband, helping prepare the meals there, right?
Of course,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Michael. I think you've shared a lot of great tips with us today about how to make sure you're staying motivated, actually get your workouts done from home, and some great eating tips as well. Any last words you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah. So I just want to encourage everyone listening, fathers out there, if you miss workouts, if you overeat or you miseat, it's easy to beat yourself up. Just stay encouraged. We're literally all in this together and have the same struggles. And this group is here to kind of pick you up and keep you motivated to keep pushing forward. ultimately, a few failures don't lead to the failure of your goal. So just stay motivated, stay encouraged, and good luck.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Michael. Appreciate having you on, and we will definitely have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks, Anthony.
That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.